Let's not stand on ceremony, mate. Let's start the show.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Test.
Oh, so now it's working.
I hope so.
Let's not stand on ceremony, mate.
We really don't need to do that again, I don't think.
Oh,
I think
man.
people can actually hear us now, which is good. We're working on this, man. We're gonna get it straight for you guys as soon as humanly possible. But we are on right now. I'm fairly certain people out there can hear us, so we're just gonna keep moving with it.
Yeah. No, we're good.
So Toy Story 4.
Well, first of all, before we start talking about the movies, I know after all the technical issues that we just had for about 40 minutes,
Yeah.
You might be embarrassed to do this, but you should probably tell people who you are.
Sure. My name's Drew Crowder. I run Hashtag Studios. John Nolan, the guy that's always standing next to this guy on this show, sitting actually, and actually usually not sitting next to anymore. We're doing some remote stuff. We appreciate you guys hanging with us during that. The actual, I don't think the show actually suffered too much from being remote.
You still haven't really told anybody who you are. Your name is John Nolan, but who are you?
I mean, are we getting like philosophical here?
I don't want to.
I think therefore I am.
No, I don't give a damn about that. But all right, I'm Travis Hobson, and I'm one of the co-creators of PunchDrunkCritics.com. I'm a film critic here in the Washington D.C. area, member of BFCA, Broadcast Film Critics, WAFCA, Washington D.C. Film Critics, and I'm the film critic for Good Morning Washington and WETA
Which is
around
a new
town.
one, by the way, right?
I don't think so.
When did you start on on Channel 7?
I was on News Channel 8 before that. Now it's Channel 7. They're both the same.
I just found out we actually do have audio, I think.
Well, good. But
Sweet. So we're actually broadcasting. So yeah. So
Okay,
when did you start the Channel 7 thing?
It's been a few months.
Oh.
It's been a few months. I was on Channel 8 before that. Now it's Channel 7. But they're both related. So
Oh, okay.
They're both related.
Yeah,
So,
this guy's picking up news stations the way I used to pick up STDs back in the day, and it's wait. Are we live now?
Tell your wife about that?
No, I'm just kidding. I do have to stop telling my family about this show if I'm gonna talk like that.
Yeah. So that's who I am, and we do, like I said, PunchDrunkCritics.com, which is a local site that follows news. It does mainly movie reviews every week. I think we do a lot of reviews. I think we do them well. So. Yeah.
Well, mostly you, but I try to pop in every once in a while.
We have a pretty good group of people who do reviews.
Yeah, we do.
Not just me. And actually, I've taken a step back this year compared to other years where I would do 200 to almost 300 reviews a year. Yeah. Now it's about maybe 150.
I had to stop doing that even back before I couldn't do that anyway, just because, and I never understood the reason I started reviewing in the first place was because I hated that these movies would come out that I liked and everybody would be trashing them. And then it took me about a year, maybe, really only 3 months of heavily reviewing movies after we got our press credentials and we're going to every screening that first couple years. Like 3 to 6 months into it, I was like, I get it now. If you watch every freaking movie, it takes a lot for a movie to stand out. And you kind of have to – so there's a lot of movies out there that there's just really not much to say about. And you can't do a review by saying it was fine. And
no, you can't really.
So you kind of got to pick into it, but so I kind of stepped back just for my own sanity. But we have a good a really good group there. So that's who Travis is and me. I'm just a boy standing next to a man asking him to talk about movies with me.
Yeah, no, it's nothing like that, y'all. It's a pretty cool thing to do. But now you're right to an extent, though. You do see a lot of movies. It's tough to find new things to say about movies. Is what it is. Yeah. Especially when you get the middle of the road films. That kind of stuff. Those reviews suck. And the same way you kind of got, kind of we're over the reviewing the movies thing. Yeah. I've kind of become like done with the whole film critic thing. Yeah. So, I mean, not that I'm really done with it. Like I'm gonna keep doing it because I like doing it and I love movies. But like any other profession, it's.
Well, you can do anything. It's like
it can get annoying and sort of. Political aspects of it can be annoying, and there's all sorts of shit.
I think it's whenever you involve other people.
I get annoyed with people. Yeah.
It's when
I'm
you involve
easily
other
annoyed
people
with people. It doesn't take much for me to be annoyed with people, and I get annoyed with people.
I mean, that's honestly, I will say that I get annoyed with people pretty damn quick too, and in this movie criticism, I'm trying to sound all smart. You wouldn't think it was that. Like you're just guys and girls talking about movies, what's the big deal? But people somehow politics manages literal politics managed to worm its way into everything.
Well, I put politics in my reviews, but that's because I'm a very political person.
Yeah, that's who you are. I'm saying like everybody there has to have, and it's not that politics are brought into it. It's just like it seems that in the way that we treat politics, people treat like movies like you like the DC movies, and then like you get. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I guess that's what you're saying. Everybody sort of runs to their camps when it comes to certain things. You either like Marvel or you like DC. Well, why can't you like both?
Yeah, why can't you like everything?
Yeah, why can't you like everything? And which I think most people do. But when you're on the internet, there's always camps. People always go and hide in theirs, whenever something new comes out. And that kind of stuff is annoying. I think I've been pretty good at blocking stuff like that out, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, this week's movies were Toy Story 4, Child's Play, and Anna.
Mm-hmm.
Which I would because of Luc Besson. And we were going to do our top 5 movies at the halfway point of the year. And we can do that. If we get around to it, we can do that. We burn so much time fucking around with the technical stuff. Who knows if we'll get around to it.
Yeah.
I think we're both just kind of like...
Yeah, I'm just trying to get through. I'm just trying to hope the next button I hit works. So
yeah, I know. Well, you know what? How was your week? Because I had a pretty cool evening last night. That was a pretty movie-wise.
My week was it was normal. I mean, nothing new. I mean, I saw Toy Story. I saw Child's Play. I worked every day. It was nothing blown away, but I want to hear about this cool night of yours.
Well, I went to this thing. It's called Can I Kick It? And basically, it's from this group called Shaolin Jazz or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was at the National Gallery of Art, and I went with a couple friends, and they were showing Batman Ninja, the cartoon.
I saw that on Facebook, and I was like, "That's been out for a while. What is this?"
Yeah. So what it is, and I wasn't quite sure because the description wasn't that great, so I wasn't sure what it was. But when I went there, what it is they show the movie on the big screen like a movie theater, like a movie theater experience in an auditorium. But there's a live DJ who does the music.
No shit.
And he puts in different music. He puts in like hip hop tracks and like sound effects. And so he'd throw in like, there's a scene where like this old feudal Japanese castle transforms.
Mm-hmm.
He'd put in the sound effects from Transformers.
Oh, no kidding.
He would play like Transformers music and like Thundercats music and all this other stuff. All these different effects to make it totally unique.
Oh,
it was fucking amazing. And he does it, apparently. They do it for different movies. Like this week, they're coming up. They're doing Thor Ragnarok that way.
In the same place?
No, it's what's the place out in Silver Springs? Freedom Plaza or something like that?
Freedom Plaza out in Silver Springs.
They're doing it there.
Oh, I got to get to see. What's his name?
It's called, you go to ShaolinJazz.com.
Shaolin Jazz.
He's doing Thor Ragnarok, and then he's doing Infinity War, and then Captain Marvel. Like, that's the next three.
Like I feel like
I gotta go see
I feel like
these.
the animated stuff would be the best because you could swap out those sound effects. But
I'm curious to see how it would be live action.
Have you ever been to one of the showings of like Lord of the Rings or Star Wars or Harry Potter where they have the orchestral like the live orchestra?
No, I've always wanted to. I've never done it.
It's really cool, but it doesn't sound like it's half as like that's really powerful. There's something about feeling the music in the room, but I know there's something about feeling the music in the room, and with the orchestra stuff, it's cool. But what you're talking about, it sounds like it brings a whole new level to whatever you're watching.
Yeah.
Shaolin Jazz. So everybody check that out. I'm actually going to make a note right now.
It's pretty fucking hype,
yeah. That's one cool thing about where we are in the DC area is there's a lot of not off the beaten path. It's not like it's not the right word, but like quirky kind of events that
there's a lot of stuff like that. But but earlier this week I went to the Library of Congress they were inducting Cinderella into the National Film Registry,
right?
Which is a really cool event put on by Disney and the Library of Congress. And I was telling a friend that I went there with, and I was like, this is the kind of stuff we don't normally do out here that often.
Right.
They do these things every goddamn day in Los Angeles, events like this. We don't do them enough here. So I was like, when they do them, we should go.
Yeah. I mean, for sure.
We just don't do enough of these things. I wish we did more. It's one of the things I've always wanted to do with DC. While I was, while I'm in WAFC and stuff like that, is try to get more events here in DC, which is why I put on panels and stuff because I want to do more stuff.
Right.
DC should have more of a film presence, and so it's kind of cool that they did that.
Yeah, we are kind of like redheaded stepchilded out of that whole New York, LA thing. I know we're not Chicago big or Miami big, but considering, I mean, the MPAA headquarters was here. That should count for something. But they do a lot of cool stuff. They just don't advertise it, even to us. I mean,
counts for nothing.
What?
It counts for nothing.
Yeah, it counts for nothing. Although it was cool the very first time I went to a screening there. I was like, wow, this is where they tell
Aren't
all
they
the
still
movies.
going to be here though? Like, aren't they just didn't they just remodel or something?
Yeah, they're still here. They just took the building out, so I don't think they have a screening room anymore. Or not a public one anymore.
Yeah,
anyway.
as far as I know,
But
we haven't had a movie there in a couple of years.
They have a lot of cool stuff. Like when Warner Brothers had their 100th anniversary or whatever, they had a screening at the Museum of American History, I think. And it was a really cool screening back there. They got all kind of gift bags and stuff. It was really well put on. They do a lot at the Air and Space Museum, especially out here in Chantilly, where we're at right now at the Udvar Hazy Center. They do some cool stuff, but I feel like they don't advertise it a lot. But
Well,
Anyway.
we got Spider-Man this week. It's going to be at the Lockheed Martin IMAX.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you going to that?
The screening?
Yeah.
Nope.
The screening's at Lockheed Martin IMAX in D.C.
Yeah. I am not allowed to go, apparently.
What? What do you mean you're not allowed to go?
I'd rather talk about it off air, probably.
What? What?
They're being the publicists around here are being
now
difficult
I'm
about
confused.
certain
What?
things.
How are you not allowed to go?
Exactly.
Oh wait, is it one of those things where it's like two people from the same outlet?
It is, but the thing is,
We've done that before. You have a different outlet.
well, exactly. You have 5 different outlets. I have 3 different outlets because I got 3 radio stations. I
Okay,
appear
so
on.
just say you're going to one of them.
I'll talk to you about it.
All right. Okay.
There's a difficult person there who can be difficult.
Okay. Yeah. No.
Anyway, so Toy Story 4 was fun, right? Is it 5 years or longer since Toy Story 3?
9 years, right?
Is it 9 years since
Yeah,
Toy Story 3?
was
Since Toy Story
2010.
3 ripped out your heart, picked it back up, and gave it a hug with that Schindler's List ending that everybody still talks about. Yep. So Toy Story 4 is now out. If you remember the end of Toy Story 3, Andy has moved off to college. He gave his toys to the girl down the street, Bonnie.
It's funny in my
right?
review, I initially fucked that up. I had said that he was her older brother and passed him down, and I had to remember. Oh yeah, wait, that wasn't.
Yeah,
the
I got
case.
confused too because
that
the whole
wasn't the
time
case.
throughout, he has the little sister. But
Yeah, I totally forgot that she wasn't.
Toy Story number 1, the goose that laid all the eggs to pass. Have you watched Toy Story 1 recently?
No.
You just watch 10 minutes of it. It doesn't look as good, obviously, as these. It is bloody amazing how good that movie looks for 24 years ago. When CG animation like this first came out, for it to look not that much different than it does now,
Yeah.
astounding. I mean, I was trying to remember how blown away I was by the first time I saw it, but it had to be mind blowing.
I don't remember how I felt the first time I saw it. I remember, not that I didn't like the Toy Story movies. I remember just thinking, yeah, they're fine. They're good. Toy Story 3 was the first one that blew me away.
Right.
And I think I did. With Toy Story 3, I slept on how much I cared about the characters.
You mean from the previous ones or from
Yeah.
seeing it on the 3?
I liked them, but I didn't really love the movies.
Right.
But then I saw 3, and I was like, I felt like really, upset for the characters at certain points. So I think I was surprised by that. Then I had to kind of revisit the first 2 movies.
Right.
But my favorite
Everyone, Bonnie made a friend in class.
Oh, she's already making friends.
No, she literally made a new friend. I want you to meet Forky.
Hi.
Toy Story 4.
He's a spool.
Yes, yeah, I know. Forky is the most important toy to Bonnie right now. We all have to make sure nothing happens to him. Woody, we have a situation.
I am not a toy. I was made for soup, salad, maybe chili, and then the trash.
Buzz, we've got to get Forky. Affirmative. Why am I alive? You're Bonnie's toy. You are going to help create happy memories that will last for the rest of her life.
I think it sent everybody into
What?
tears.
Oh, Bo, Forky, come on. Bo?
Hi there. My name is Gabby.
We can't stay.
Yes, you can. Boys. Woody, behind you!
Bo, what are you doing here?
No time to explain. Come with me.
We need to get back to our kid.
Aw, Sheriff Woody, always coming to the rescue.
Bonnie needs Forky.
Woody, who needs a kid's room when you can have all of this?
But yeah, I mean,
Wow.
Toy Story 4 comes
Woody,
in, and it's
aren't we going to
really- I
Bonnie?
think it's going to be the next.
We have to find them.
What do we do, Buzz?
What would Woody do?
Jump out of a moving vehicle?
Let's go.
Yeah, you gotta go, you gotta go.
You know, you've handled this lost toy life better than I could.
Open your eyes, Woody. There's plenty of kids out there. Sometimes change can be good.
You can't teach this old toy new tricks.
You'd be surprised.
Bonnie? We're going home, Forky.
Bonnie, I'm coming.
On my way, Woody!
Hearing this trailer of us the whole time. But yeah, it's not necessarily a bad thing. And it's what did you think of? We got the trailer playing in the background there, just so you guys can get a look.
It's
if
a
you
little
haven't
scary.
seen it. It is. But what did you think of the new additions? You got Keanu Reeves jumping in there. You got
I love
Buddy and
Duke
Ducky.
Kaboom. Love Duke Kaboom as the Canadian stuntman. Keanu Reeves is Canadian stuntman. Duke Kaboom. I loved him. Wasn't as big a fan of Jordan Peele and Keegan-Michael Key's characters.
Kind of throwaway, right?
Yeah, to me they felt tacked on. They did make me laugh all that much, except for a couple of scenes when they were showing what their plans.
Mm-hmm.
Those were funny. Those were funny scenes, but for the most part, they didn't do much for me. But I liked Christina Hendricks as what's her name, the doll, the kind of the evil doll. She's evil at one, or misunderstood doll, I would say.
And you know what I didn't realize before?
Gabby.
Annie Potts is Bo Peep.
Yeah, you know that.
Did you have a crush on Annie Potts in the 80s?
No.
I had a
well,
crush
okay,
on
well
Annie
maybe a
Potts.
little bit in Designing Women.
Does I see? You know what? My movie for her was
Maybe a
always
little
Who's Harry Crumb. Did you ever see that? You remember that movie?
Yes.
I loved Who's Harry Crumb. That was one of my stay home from school movies. You'd watch Price is Right, Who's Harry Crumb, and you eat a lot of stuff you weren't supposed to eat.
That was John Candy, wasn't it?
Yeah, John Candy.
Yeah, I was more of a Great Outdoors person.
Great Outdoors is amazing too.
Great Outdoors is a great movie.
Yeah.
What's John Candy doing now?
He's dead.
Oops.
He's been dead since Toy Story 1 came out.
Oops. Nah, I like John Candy.
Yeah, the mid '90s were a tough time to be a big comedian,
dead,
a big white comedian.
Yeah, I hard to believe he's dead. Actually, even though it's been all these years.
I'll be 100%. I love John Candy so much. I remember when he died, and this is so freaking weird that I actually remember this. I was in a doctor's office with my mom, and it came on the TV, and that was the only time I'd ever felt like sorrow for somebody dying that I didn't know, that wasn't my family, and it was weird. But yeah, I love John Candy. He was awesome. Uncle Buck.
John Candy was great.
Yeah.
John Candy's a fantastic actor. I still love him in National Lampoon, even though he's only in it for a few minutes.
Right.
I still love him in that movie. But yeah, I wasn't a big fan of Keegan-Michael Key and Peele's
There they are right there.
Yeah,
Ducky
they are
and
right there.
Bunny.
Ducky, yeah, something like that. Yeah, so I mean, it's amazing. This movie did really well at the box office. Didn't do great as some people thought.
Mm-hmm.
Like domestically, it made 118 million, which is good. It's the best.
Weird in a world
it's the
where
best of
that's
the
not great.
franchise, but it's lower than expectations. But it made 238 million worldwide. So it's nice if these movies aren't going to make any
That's
money.
the best opening of the whole franchise?
118 million is. Toy Story 3 did 110. That was the biggest before now.
Wow.
I mean, the first one only made 29.
Yeah, I mean,
It was a different time.
I figured the first and second one probably didn't make much.
These are unadjusted numbers. So I mean,
I thought I remembered Toy Story 3 being like a huge splash when it came out. Like
110 million
biggest.
is a big splash.
Well, I know. I'm just saying I figured it would have been the biggest because they're calling this one not a disappointment, obviously, but they're saying lower than expectations.
Yeah.
So I guess they're doing some kind of algorithm on that original one. But I mean, all in all,
it's just projections. I mean, projections were 150 to 200 by some people.
Yeah.
So when you make 118, then that looks like a disappointment. 118 million is a good opening number.
Yeah.
Has Pixar ever debuted a movie that didn't start at number one?
What about Planes?
I'm pretty sure Planes did.
Planes. No, I don't.
Doesn't
honestly,
mean it made 118 million
because
dollars.
Pixar does many things very well. That's why they're number one. I mean, some of their movies are right up there with the DreamWorks movies are right up there with them. The what's the Minions
Nobody's
studio?
right up there with them.
Okay, but they're
Nobody's
close.
up there with them, really.
Because of the I'm saying story-wise and animation-wise, but because of the multitude of things they do right, they also know the business side of things so well. They know how to plan, they know how to release, they know how to market, they know all that ancillary stuff to the actual movie itself that really makes everything that much better. For instance,
and they're Disney.
look at my kids went to Wendy's the other day and came home with Jesus, I'm blanking on his name, Sporky.
Forky?
Forky, yeah. Forky, the new character.
You're this close.
Sporky. He is a spork. It's fairly enough. But yeah, the new main character and the favorite toy of Bonnie is a spork that she made herself. You can see him right there on the
my
screen.
favorite character on the left there. Jesse.
Yeah, and I think he was an awesome addition, and it's funny to see Woody kind of try to take whatever mantle he can. I felt like Buzz was kind of kicked back a little bit.
He was,
in this.
but this is a Woody story. But Buzz had his own thing to deal with too. Buzz had to kind of find his own voice because he needs to find his own voice outside of Woody.
Right.
That's what his arc was in this film, was finding his own voice outside of Woody.
Yeah.
So that's what his arc was. Did it get as much time as it probably could have used? No, because the focus is Woody. This is Woody's story.
Right.
But Jessie had to find hers too. Jessie had to find her voice a little bit too. So she had her moments where she got to do that, kind of take charge, because she's going to have to do that.
Yeah.
Without giving too much about the movie away. All right, I'll give it away. Woody gets tossed into a fire, and he's gone. So it's Woody and it's Buzz and Jessie who have to take over. Yeah, I know it sucks, but so yeah, that's what this movie was about. finding your own voice and standing on your own 2 feet.
Yeah, and I mean, they always, and that's the last thing I'll say that Pixar does better than anybody else. It's just what you said. That message that they put through, that really poignant, meaningful message that they wrap in all this stuff.
Well, they do the best bookends in Hollywood, like the opening scenes and closing scenes.
You know, I'm trying to think of
like
the different
opening scenes. When you ask people what's their favorite part of Up, what do they say?
Yeah,
the opening
true.
6 minutes.
Yep.
Because to me that's the only good parts of Up. I don't like that movie, but that's the best part. In this movie, the opening scene is heartbreaking. The closing scene is heartbreaking. I mean, nobody does these things better than Pixar. They can wrap up their stories. You know, they can put their themes out there and then wrap them up better than almost anybody that I can think of.
Right, and their entertainment value doesn't suffer. Like, it's just as, I don't want to say it's just as funny or enjoyable, because there's more heft to Pixar movies than there are to the other studios. Illumination is the one I was trying to think of.
Illumination definitely doesn't do heft.
Yeah, I mean, the other ones are kids' entertainment. Pixar's always been the one known for that, but they do it so well. But the thing is, they don't let the other parts suffer. They're still just as fun.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see now. This is supposed to be sort of an end of their period of sequels. They're
Pixar's?
moving on. Yeah, they're moving on to a stretch of all original content. So they've announced 2 movies. They've shown teasers for 2 movies. Both of them are originals. Soar, which I think they teased a couple of days ago, and there's another one.
Soar looks awesome, yeah.
And another one that has Tom Holland and Chris Pratt as elves.
Yeah, the mystical thing. That actually looks pretty fun.
Looks pretty cool too. That's the only one that we saw any footage of or anything like that. But
now I know I'm just blanking, but what was has Pixar been on a sequel kick lately? I mean, I know they've done sequels, but I'm trying to remember what kind of see their slate. When's the last
Monsters
original?
University, Toy Story 4. There's another one.
Because they've been doing originals as well, right?
They've mixed in a couple of them, but they've been kind of minor. Like The Good Dinosaur, it's a minor one.
Oh yeah.
But these next couple of movies, Soar, sounds like it's going to be in the same vein as Inside Out, which is very high concept.
Yeah.
So,
dealing with your emotions, yeah.
Yep. So I'm excited for that. I mean, Pixar's great. They can always turn these into franchises if they wanted to.
Are you surprised that they haven't made a turn towards universalizing their?
Oh God!
I know they do the thing where you can see the next movie in the background of their movies. Like there's a picture of Mike Wazowski in Toy Story 2 and things like that.
Right.
But I feel like
you want them to turn into a cinematic universe.
No, I don't want them to. I'm just surprised they haven't. Because I mean,
I'm glad they
let's
haven't.
be honest. The real draw for the businesses behind this is not the $200 million they make on the movie. It's the $2 billion they make on merchandising and the Disney theme park.
And I don't think they need to, universally these movies to do that. So they
need to sequelize them though, because you need to have multiple movies.
Like I said, they've been doing sequels. They've done sequels.
Right. I just see. I mean, everything has to go to universe. If these days, if Disney if anybody's gonna do it, Disney would. Now it's kind of like there's a neat ability there. I don't want them to do it. I think if anybody can spearhead new original content in the marketplace and not worry about the end result, it's Disney, right? It's Pixar specifically. Right. So here's hoping they lead that charge. But speaking of a toy of another kind, another movie came out this week, Child's Play. That is an ugly. Look at this picture. Is that a toy anyone would buy their child? I don't think anybody would buy that for their kid. Do you?
I wouldn't buy it.
Yeah.
I mean,
that shit is not gonna work. There we go. Oh.
Hey, I'm a little bit cut off, but hey.
Oh. Now it's worse.
Oh.
I shouldn't have stopped it. Here, just scoot over towards me a little bit. Let's move the person instead of the camera. All right, there we go. Now you can see my wonderful Critters T-shirt that I'm wearing today. I couldn't find my Child's Play T-shirt, so I wore this. But yeah, Child's Play came.
T-shirt?
No, I don't have a Child's Play T-shirt.
Okay, I don't know. You might have.
They wouldn't have known that if you hadn't seen it. Look at you got E.T. Wow, what's E.T.'s kid's name? I forget.
Henry Thomas.
Elliot. No,
yeah, he is dressed like Elliot.
So yeah, you have Child's Play.
Explain
remake,
this movie
reboot.
to me. What is this good guy buddy? Is that the toy he is?
If I'm gonna do a dichotomy of the two. So in the original, obviously, the killer Charles Lee Ray is being chased by the cops and he gets shot and he's dying and he dies in the toy store, and his last thing on this earth is to lay down what was a My Buddy doll, essentially a good guy doll, in this Toy Story, and do a voodoo curse on him to transplant his soul into that doll.
Okay.
That's what
This
he
was
did.
the original.
Yeah, the original one. Yeah.
Right.
There's a reason I'm
I don't
telling you
remember the
this one.
circumstances of why he knew to do a voodoo curse.
They don't really get into that too much. I mean, I think in the 80s,
if I get shot right now, I'm not
Yeah.
going to be like, do a voodoo curse.
I think in the 80s, everybody knew voodoo and everybody had quicksand in their backyard. That was like
Makes
the two
sense.
things. But so and then the doll, from whatever means, gets to Andy, this unsuspecting kid, and Chucky is killing people and kind of using Andy because his end game is to do the voodoo curse again on Andy to make himself a real boy. It's kind of Pinocchio if you look at it that way. Fast forward to 2019, and about 14 Child's Play sequels of varying quality and entertainment value ahead, and we have techno horror Chucky that, under a different banner, could have been a pretty cool movie. But under what it was, I don't mind sequels and reboots and remakes, but when you strip everything out of it, we talked about Men in Black last week and stripping the core of what it is. And essentially what this movie is taking the doll and the basic premise,
This shit looks fucking stupid.
making it 2019 to the max and calling it a day. So
what's that mean?
all
What
right,
does
so
that mean?
so I don't know. I sound like I was from an early '90s teen sitcom with that to the max. So okay, so Chucky is a buddy doll, Buddi,
Right.
Not My Buddy or Good Guy or anything like that.
Yeah.
The movie starts with with one of the workers in, I think it was Taiwan or Thailand or something, wherever it's made, essentially being fired. And on his way out, he flips off a bunch of the safety switches on one of the dolls. Yes, it is exactly like Treehouse of Horror, that Simpsons episode with the Krusty doll. And he goes in there and changes the programming, and then he goes and kills himself, right? So this doll is marked defective, but still manages to make it to a little toy like a Walmart type store where.
Wait, time out.
Yeah.
Why first of all, why does the doll need safeties? But two, why does turning off the safeties on a toy doll make it want to murder people?
Well, that's the wrong one.
Something's wrong with Chucky.
It's controlled with an app.
Andy,
it's on the cloud.
I know this move has
it's
been
doing
really
all
tough,
this, and yes,
but
it
this
is
was
that
supposed to be a new
ridiculous. It
start for
gets
us,
even more
remember?
ridiculous than that.
You said you were going to try to
and
make
you're
me
looking at the trailer
friends.
right now.
Buddy
you know,
can
the
connect
kid and
to
his
and
mom are
control
kind of
all of your Caslin products and
yeah,
smart
by the
home
way,
devices.
the other thing out of everything else that's
Introducing your
depressing
new
about
best
this,
friend.
Aubrey Plaza is the mom of a 10-year-old
We
now.
seriously objectified her last week.
We did.
Yeah. We objectified the shit out of her last week, talking about how nasty she probably is.
Oh yeah, she's nasty.
Yeah, she.
I have a feeling that everything you saw in Bad Grandpa.
Mom, I need to tell you something, and I need you to believe me.
Dirty Grandpa?
Dirty Grandpa, maybe?
I think
yeah, that sounds more
Chucky
like
did
it.
something.
Dirty Grandpa. I think everything you saw in there was probably legit.
Sorry, Andy.
Plaza, Andy, who.
Andy, if you know something, you better tell me.
Something's wrong with Chucky.
Buddy can connect to and control all of your Caslin products.
Chucky is a toy.
He could be anywhere.
Welcome to Caslin Cars.
We have to stop him. Chucky!
Scratches Andy.
Hi there,
Chucky
Andy.
killed him. You know, and then, that itself, where it gets ridiculous is in the climax. See a little bit of the trailer that just played right then. He can interface with other toys of Caltech, or I forget what the name of the company is now, but whatever
Yeah,
company
I mean,
makes them.
he's sort of like in the cloud.
Yeah, it's like he's like your iPhone if it could turn your iHome and shoot knives at you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he gets in there, and I mean he's controlling drones, the temperature in the room. He at one point takes over a car.
Sounds dumb.
So it could have really been a cool techno horror idea, but using Child's Play to do this was not the right idea. I think the voodoo and the manipulation of an actual serial killer being in that doll, Charles Lee Ray taking over Chucky, I think that's a big part of what makes it good. And just the simplicity of it, that like he's not a cloud connected little doll hacker. He's a doll with a knife that's going to kill you because he wants your soul. And I think there's a beauty to that this totally misses and really gets messed up on. If you've never seen the first Child's Play, if you have no inkling of what happened to that one, it could actually be all right. The main problem with it then, if you have no exposure to the original, is what you see right there on screen. The complete lack of believability that somebody would make a doll that looks like that and somebody would buy.
How's Mark Hamill as the voice of Chucky?
Hamill is, I mean, anybody that knows Hamill's voice work, you know, he was he is the most popular Joker in the animated world. He's awesome, but he's not he's not the guy whose name I can't remember right now.
Brad Dourif.
Brad Dourif. Sorry,
Yeah.
And Brad Dourif in horror circles, like I'm a bigger horror fan than you are, obviously, but you know, in horror circles, Brad Dourif as Chucky is something that it's like recasting Robert Englund for Freddy, which you saw what happened when that happened. You don't do it.
Did that movie make money? It didn't do well.
It didn't do bad.
I thought
you're ruining my argument here. You understand that?
I'm sorry. I mean, somebody's going to do it ought to be me.
Yeah, but you know, it's just it didn't need to be done this way. It could have been a different movie and probably done better. If you don't have any connection to Child's Play, the originals, it actually can be pretty freaky. The doll doesn't look great, and that's probably the main problem there. So, I mean, other than that, Child's Play is a skip from me. But I think if you really want to see a horror movie,
can you believe A Nightmare on Elm Street, the remake was 2010?
I saw it on Stars.
I was talking to somebody about it last night, and I was like, "Who was it? 2015? No."
And the people that were in it. Do you remember like Rooney Mara was in it? She was the main
Shit,
chick.
you're right. Katie Cassidy was in it too.
Yeah, love me some Katie Cassidy.
Yeah.
Back in the day, especially when she was
115 million.
Total domestic or total?
That's total.
It's not bad. I mean,
For
they probably made it for
a
30
Nightmare on
million.
Elm Street movie. That's pretty good. It's probably the most in the franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably the most.
You see what he does? He goes and he does research to ruin my arguments. That's what he does.
It's not ruining your argument. They didn't make another one, so there's obviously a reason why they didn't make another one.
Well, they're talking about making another one now. Isn't it LeBron's company?
I don't know.
No, they're doing something else. It's something weird going on in horror, man. You got Chris Rock remaking Saw. LeBron's wanting to remake like Paranormal Activity.
Well, it's Paranormal Activity's coming back, but it's not LeBron. It's just Blumhouse again.
No, I just made that up.
Blumhouse is doing a seventh Paranormal Activity.
LeBron's doing something.
They just announced it a couple days ago.
Dwayne Wade's remaking Imama Tutankhamun.
Jordan Peele's doing Candyman. That comes out soon, actually. I think either later this year
but
or
that
early
seems like a
next year.
fit. I mean, that seems like a good fit. Jordan Peele doing Candyman. I mean,
he's producing it, but he's not directing it.
But
But they're doing Candyman. So yeah, all these movies are being revived. But we go through. I mean, and they're doing, of course, a Halloween sequel.
Shaq's doing Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. That's weird.
No comment.
You went over my E2 Mama Tambien joke, but I thought was pretty good, so I had to get another one. But yeah, so
Child's Play, no good.
No good. No go.
Okay.
Return that doll.
All right.
Next up, Luc Besson, who we both of us really had kind of a decades-long love. Me, it's kind of been love-hate for some of the stuff. His recent stuff hasn't been that great, but, you know, Fifth Element, Professional, Transporter, you know, anything this guy can do. So
yeah, Luc Besson. I mean, I love Luc Besson. La Femme Nikita, The Big Blue is a movie I love. The Professional, obviously. Fifth Element's not my favorite, but
you know,
it's
oh
fine.
Man,
it's fine. My dad used to
Lilo
love the Fifth Element.
Your dad did?
He loved Fifth Element. I think I like it because he loved it so much, but I think it's fine. But the Fifth Element it's interesting because he's kind of been trying to find his next Mila Jovovich forever, like ever since then. Because he basically turned her into a star. He's been trying to find that person ever since. Just like he's been trying to do La Femme Nikita ever since, even though that was and Parallel. He started that. He's been kind of redoing that same movie over and over and over again, whether he directs it or writes it or not. I mean, he did Colombiana as well. I mean, he does all this stuff.
I like Colombiana.
It's fine, yeah. But he keeps making these movies, and he's made a whole bunch more that nobody talks about. He's made a whole bunch of these movies.
Yeah.
And they're all the same. He doesn't change anything.
Well, they even look the same. If you check out the images on the screen right now, folks, They look, and like you said, wait till this next one comes up. I think it's the next one. You said he's trying to find his new Mila Jovovich. Well, like that looks exactly like Amber Valletta from Transporter 2. And another image of her looks exactly like Mila Jovovich pretty much. So it's like he's found his good hybrid. Look, tell me that's not Mila Jovovich.
Yeah, no, but this is what he does. He finds these 6-foot supermodels, and he puts a pair of guns in their hands, and he tells them to go out and kill people. This is Sasha Luce. She's a Russian supermodel. This is her second big screen role. She was in Valerian, which he did a couple years ago. That gigantic flop from a couple years ago. It's a decent movie. It just cost way too much and it didn't make enough. But she had a tiny role in that. This is her first leading role, and basically she plays a junkie who gets recruited by the KGB to become an assassin. Basically, it's the same plot that Besson and others have done a bazillion times.
Yeah, it's the standard
same
mid-Euro type.
Yeah, and of course the CIA gets involved, and she gets pulled in two different directions. But the movie starts. It's not only her. It's Helen Mirren, Luke Evans, and Cillian Murphy. So it's got this great cast surrounding her, and she's actually pretty good. By in comparison to some of the other women that he's cast in roles like this, you couldn't hack it. She's actually pretty decent.
Right.
But the problem is the movie, it just doesn't have anything to say. It doesn't do anything new. And it's kind of coming at a really bad time because Luc Besson, I've always said this about Luc Besson, and as much as I love him, his camera is so lecherous. Like his camera, why we talk about objectification.
You feel like you're doing something naughty watching it sometimes.
Right. His camera, remember like the way, like the first time you watched Blue is the Warmest Color?
Yeah.
And you're like,
it's like, is that camera just going to stay on her butthole this whole
right,
time?
You're like, okay. His camera was like that for that movie, but it's definitely like that for this one, too. And it comes at a bad time because he spent all of last year defending multiple sexual assault allegations.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why there's been practically no marketing for this movie done here in the States.
And he's because of that, you could never say no, he wouldn't. I mean, that'd be like if you heard a report came out that Quentin Tarantino had a sexual assault charge because he licked somebody's toe while they were sleeping on set. You could not believe that. I mean, and Luc Besson with the way.
I mean, I think that's a little bit different. No, I think that's different. No. Tarantino does not objectify his women like that.
If somebody came up and said Tarantino got caught sucking on Rosario Dawson's toe on set,
if you told me Tarantino was a freak who likes sucking on women's toes, okay. If you told me that he did it without being asked to do so, or without
I'm just saying, you talk about lecherous camera. Look for any Tarantino movie.
I would have an easier time believing Michael Bay did it than I do Quentin
Well, I mean,
Tarantino.
I wouldn't even waste my time trying to deny the fact that Michael Bay did it. He's probably doing that right now. I'm amazed he hasn't been taken out.
But Besson, he just, I think the reason why he casts women like this is because of exactly what we're talking about. He can basically do whatever with them what he wants to do. So the character here that she plays is basically two things: a killer and an object of desire. That's like all she is. Like that's like there's nothing.
Literally
more.
two-dimensional.
Yeah, that's basically it. Now she does the most with it that she can. She's like I said, she's actually got really good screen presence, charisma, and athletically she's pretty good too. She's actually decent. The action scenes are standard for a Besson movie. There's nothing extraordinary about them at all, which I think is you can't really have in this post John Wick Atomic Blonde era that we're in right now.
I just watched it the other night again. By the way,
you can't be just bland action anymore. You got to do better. You got to do something more.
It sucks for Besson because he was like one of the vanguards of '90s action, right?
Yeah,
so
just
never changing his game throughout all these years.
That stepped the game up, man. He doesn't do it. He hasn't done it. But she has no dimension to her at all whatsoever, which is sad. So this movie really disappointed me. I just saw it yesterday, and I wrote my review this morning. It's on punchdrunkcritics.com now. I always want Besson to do great. Like I said, I enjoy his work for the most part, but this is not his best. I like to see him try to do new things, but he doesn't do them nearly often enough. So
that sucks. I mean, he's one of those ones that I've been waiting to really. He's always been kind of hit or miss when you think about it. You go down, you got The Professional. Right after that, he has The Fifth Element, which, depending on who you talk to, is the iconic sci-fi movie of the 90s.
Did you see The Big Blue?
I didn't.
You should watch it. It's called Le Grand Bleu.
Le Grand Bleu.
It's Jean Reno and some other people, but basically it's a.
Is Jean Reno in this?
No.
That's amazing.
It's a deep sea diving movie.
Yeah.
It's one of the most breathtaking movies visually that you'll ever see. It's actually amazing, and you'd be hard pressed to believe that's Luc Besson. But this is also early Besson. I think it might be his second movie.
Oh, so this isn't something that just came out. This is
no. This is a while back, but it's definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen Le Grand Bleu. It's very good.
Yeah, he's part of that French, like people talk about French New Wave. I always like the French action movement. The one that you introduced me to, District B13, one of the tops there. And it's funny because you wouldn't, and this is going to sound severely Europhobic, I guess, but France gets all this trash talk for, surrendering and things like that, but their martial arts. I was watching this History Channel program about the martial arts of France. They're pretty rad. And then you have movies. You have like Bassan and I don't know the other guy's name, but you have a lot of good action movies coming out of there that are really kind of groundbreaking. And it's just disappointing to hear that he's still not changed his flow at all to get something new.
No, and he probably because he doesn't need to. I'm sure this movie would do incredibly well in France or something like that.
Yeah,
he'll probably do really well there. Which is, I mean, he's probably not taking the heat for the sexual misconduct allegations either over there that he does or that he would over here.
Are you able to separate like personal and professional? I guess.
Yes.
Why can't some people do that?
I can do it while at the same time acknowledging when they make a movie that's creepy. I can watch this movie. Like I can watch a movie like this and just look at it as a Luc Besson movie, while at the same time recognizing that considering his current circumstances, a movie that objectifies the lead character is probably not the best idea at the moment. Or I can look at Louis C.K. and be like, this is probably not the best movie for you at the moment.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But still be able to look at the movie and be like, yeah, it's pretty terrible, or it's good, whatever. Or Woody Allen, actually, they keep making all these guys are making bad movies, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
they're all making bad movies.
Chicken
too.
or egg, I don't know.
They have bad judgment and they're making bad movies.
Is there a point at which that you're like, is the point like conviction or something like that, where something's solidified as a definite, definitely happened that you say I'm not watching this stupid stuff. I'm not contributing to this. I know we're getting deep here. I'm just curious because I know people go off the handle sometimes, but
I'm almost near that point with Max Landis, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
I'm almost near the point with Max Landis and Bryan Singer. I'm pretty much at that point with both of them, close or really as close to it as I can be.
Yeah.
Bryan Singer, he
put me off the edge.
He's been on these accusations for a long time, but it goes beyond that. He's also unprofessional.
Yeah.
Outside of that, he's also unprofessional. The same thing with Max Landis. Not only does he have these allegations against him, but he's unprofessional and he's a bad writer. So
yeah,
I mean, he hasn't written anything good since Chronicle. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's written a bunch of shit since then. Like all of it's been shit.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, he lucked out once.
Yeah. So then, yeah, there's no other thing to back you up and make me fight harder for you.
Right.
But yeah, it's funny you mentioned Bryan Singer. That's one of the ones I was thinking about, and I didn't know. I was thinking, is this wrong of me that I'm more mad about his lack of professionalism than the accusations? Because you always got to be careful with the accusations, because in today's world, it's like anybody can say something online and automatically you're guilty to everybody that reads it. So you got to kind of try and stay objective.
Right.
But the fact of what he did on the set of Bohemian Rhapsody. That emphasis was on the wrong page. Bohemian Rhapsody. Bohemian Rhapsody was, just so blatant that
the unprofessional stuff I think contributes, to the overall attitude.
Right. Okay.
That's why I can do that. When I imagine, and I don't know anybody who's ever committed a sexual assault. Thankfully, I don't know anybody who's done that. Yeah. But I imagine those people are committing acts of misconduct in all aspects of their life.
It's not a siloed thing where they're showing up at work on time and doing everything else right.
Bryan Singer is somebody who flakes out on multiple movies that he's doing. He just being unprofessional all around.
Right.
Not just unprofessional with the people that he's working with. Mm-hmm. He's unprofessional all around. And Max Landis seems like he's the same way too, which is why I put those things together. I don't know, as far as I know about Luc Besson, he's not unprofessional.
Right.
He's always been, as far as I can remember, in all my years of following him, he's been when he's on set, he's been very professional. but I don't know the circumstances about these allegations either. But
at a minimum, it helps you to believe that
makes me want to be like, yeah, I need to kick him to the curb.
Right. Okay. Yeah. At a minimum, the professionalism thing at least lets you say, well, maybe this could be
right. And I can watch Woody Allen's movies too. The problem is Woody Allen's movies are really bad.
Yeah.
So I
couldn't
so
do that before anyway. I've never been a Woody Allen
fan. So I don't want
to
watch them anyway. They're just so shitty.
No.
They're so bad. It doesn't really matter. So
yeah. We were gonna do our best 5 of the first half of the year this week.
You want to save it?
I want to save it only because I want to talk about it. It's now June 23rd. By the time we have our next show, it'll be the end of June. Next month has Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is probably my most anticipated movie this summer, especially yet to come. And you got Comic-Con coming up. What in July is sticking out for you as far as in the theaters?
Well, I mean, definitely Spider-Man, of course.
Right.
Which we're seeing.
Oh, that's technically July 2nd. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Spider-Man comes out next week, next month too. So I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Those are probably two of my most anticipated coming up.
Am I missing something, or is that pretty much all the big stuff?
Oh, no, I'm sure there's more, but whenever somebody asks me that question, I always forget. I always draw a blank.
Why is that? You can talk about movies every single day, and when somebody says, it's like the most embarrassing question for people like us because we should have an answer right away. It's like, what's your top 3 favorite movies of all time? And all of a sudden, my brain goes to this place where I'd never seen a movie. It's not even
that. If you ask me my top 3 movies of all time, I could probably rattle off 3, because that changes.
Wouldn't be accurate, though,
right? That changes every day. But if you ask me, what's good in theaters right now? That's my worst. That's my worst question.
Yeah.
And they've asked me that on TV a couple times, and I'm always like, I don't know, man. I hate that question.
What's the theater? Yeah, you just.
It's like, what's the best 3 movies in theaters right now? And I'm like, really? Yeah, ask me that question, because as soon as you ask it, I draw a blank.
Yeah.
If you had asked me, like, if nobody had ever asked me and I just volunteered it, it would have been fine.
Yeah. It's that brain reaction.
Instant they ask, I'm like, ugh. And I can all of a sudden I can't remember what reviews I wrote over the last 2 weeks.
Right. Yeah. I know exactly what you mean there. What about Yesterday? Have you seen Yesterday yet?
No, I see it tomorrow actually.
Yeah. That's, wait.
See it tomorrow.
Is it Monday or Tuesday?
I think it's Monday. I think it's tomorrow.
Well, then I'm gonna have to change my schedule. I thought it was Tuesday, because Spider-Man's Wednesday. Right.
Yes.
So yeah. But Yesterday, I love the premise of this movie. If anybody doesn't know, and we'll just talk about this real quick.
Yesterday on Tuesday also.
Oh, okay, both days. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm mad that I gotta go to Yesterday tomorrow because I want to see Midsummer.
I don't know.
Midsummer's tomorrow.
It looks so weird, man.
Midsummer's tomorrow. I want to see that so bad. I love cult movies. I'm not a big horror guy, but I love freaky cult movies.
Right.
So I want to see that one, and it's got an amazing cast in it too. So I'm like, God, I want to see it.
I was put off from that movie ever since they decided to use that close up of the swollen lip face as the thumbnail for the trailer. But I mean, the big hype about Midsommar is that it's from the same folks that made Hereditary.
Yep. Same director, Ari Aster.
I don't know if I thought Hereditary was really good, but people were like, best horror movie ever. Yeah, it had a huge shocking moment of a scene, but I kind of felt it wasn't like The Witch, which I thought was one of the biggest wastes of celluloid in the last 10 years.
I love The Witch.
And it was so boring.
I disagree with it being boring, but okay.
Well, I mean, what was? I mean, here's my. Maybe I was looking for something else.
It's atmosphere. I mean, if you don't buy into the atmosphere, then yeah, it's going to be boring to you.
Yeah.
But I did. That was one of the movies I saw at Sundance actually. And,
I mean, it was unsettling for sure, but scary. I don't know.
I don't know if it's aiming for scary. I mean, horrors aim for different things. I think unsettling is kind of what it's going for. It's going for the mood is uncomfortable throughout the entire film. Like I said, if you buy into the atmosphere of it, then you're gonna like The Witch. But if you don't, then it's not gonna be a movie that you're gonna like. I mean, that's just straight up.
And it was more uncomfortable in the sense of, am I watching like how you'd feel if you got an outside look at a home where child abuse or something might be going on.
We still got Anna playing on here. I mean, I know she's beautiful, so I mean, it's cool to have her flashing on there.
I'm
okay with having her on there. I mean, I like looking at her.
I just don't like putting my head all big because the studio lights just shine on my dome piece and gets nasty up in here. So Yesterday has this amazing premise where this guy has an accident and wakes up and he's in a world where nobody remembers the Beatles but him.
Yep.
And what does he do with that? Obviously he uses it to become a rock superstar.
Would do.
And yeah, exactly. And I just think that's the coolest premise. I'm looking forward to that.
We cash in, but except the difference is I would cash in and then I would go like find a hermit hole somewhere and nobody ever
just
find
in
me
case
again.
everybody woke up at some point. Yeah. Take your Hey Jude money and
I would probably get radical face surgery so nobody would ever recognize me.
Right. So,
and I would just live.
Just live on that Paul McCartney money just forever. Find yourself a Yoko Ono and no.
It is a great premise.
For sure. So we got that
That's
next
a Danny
week.
Boyle movie, by the way, folks. That is Danny Boyle.
Is it Danny Boyle? How did I miss that?
That's Danny Boyle.
No crap.
Yeah, that was the movie that he was
Boyle.
going to try to do that and Bond, like basically at the same time. He was trying to do them both, and they finally he was like, "Yeah, this Bond thing ain't happening." So he dropped Bond in favor of this movie. So
Well, now I want to see it even more.
Yeah.
And damn, you had to hit on that. Like I know we're trying to wrap up here, folks. We've had you for a little bit over an hour, but
well,
Bond seems
30 minutes of that was Be Right Back.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're okay.
That's true. I'm wondering if Bond's even gonna get released at this point. All the
Yes,
crap
it
they're having
will.
every other day.
Yeah, I know they keep having issues.
It sucks.
They keep having issues, but you know what? It's fine. It'll get done.
I kind of
Will it
wonder.
be good is the other question. The big question. Will it be good?
Yeah. I don't think Daniel Craig's in enough, which sucks because he was a great Bond. He was possibly the great Bond if you take.
He's still in this.
Huh?
He's still in this.
I know, but he's not going to be the great Bond in this. He's
How
going
do
to
you
be.
know that?
I don't. It's conjecture. It's a
He got hurt?
prophecy. No, because he's not.
He
He's
gets
not.
hurt in all the movies. He gets hurt every single time.
For the last 2 movies, he's been saying, "I don't want to be Bond." That doesn't sound like him at all, but that's basically what he's been saying. The heart's not in it.
I mean, but like you said, he said that before the last one too. I mean, Spectre's not a very good Bond movie.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
but I don't know if that's the case. I think he will put. I think he always puts himself into these movies. I don't think that'll be the case. I think he'll be fine. I mean, shit. Hugh Jackman's been saying I don't want to play Wolverine for 10 years. He never gave a bad performance as Wolverine.
No, but you can tell like he doesn't seem as much of a dick about it as Daniel Craig does about being Bond. Like Daniel Craig, because he's always open. Like he's doing the stuff with Ryan Reynolds, and he jokes around about it. He has no problem with the character Wolverine. Daniel Craig seems more like one of those guys that wanted to be, doing layer cakes his whole life, and maybe get known by quite a few people, but not be on that Bond.
When he was doing Layer Cake, he was training to do Bond.
I know. It's
that was
essentially the
that
same
was
thing.
that was practice for Bond. He didn't know it yet, but that was practice for Bond.
It's almost exactly the same thing. But he didn't like that. He's one of those folks that I get the feeling he didn't want that level of fame, and he wanted to.
I would agree with that. I think he'd rather stay under the radar.
Right.
But he also knew when he took Bond that was no longer going to be the case.
You know what?
He didn't walk into it ignorant.
If you take Rachel Weisz off the market, I don't care what you do. Because
you know what? He's a dick for doing that.
Yeah.
He's
terrible.
He's an absolute dick for doing that, and for doing it because of a movie like Dreamhouse.
Yeah. I think that's the worst part of it.
Fucking
Probably.
terrible.
Yeah. I caught like 20 minutes of The Mummy the other day, and like
The Mummy's awesome.
She
by the way.
she was probably one of the top 3 most gorgeous women on the planet, like
Rachel
2001,
Weisz, man.
2000.
She made
Amazing.
pregnancy hot in The Constant Gardener.
Well, we kind of went to a weird place there, but I'm with you.
Yeah, The Constant Gardener, one of my favorite movies
Yeah.
of the last decade. I absolutely adore that movie, and she's fantastic. And she didn't win. Did she win Best Supporting Actress for that, or was she just nominated?
I think she was just nominated. I don't think she won.
She's great in that
I remember
movie.
that movie was
I
all
love
over the
that movie.
Oscars buzz meters, but I
Now I
don't
want
think
to
she
watch
won.
it. I might watch it tonight. I love that movie. Oh
Yeah.
shit! I got WWE tonight. So.
Well, let's get you ready. You ready to peace out of here?
Man, I'm just here, man. We can do this shit all day as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, unfortunately, we got such a late start that I can't do it all day.
He's like, nah, man.
But here's a promise I make to you, dear viewer. Next week, we're going to get everything done ahead of time, and we're going to test it ahead of time. So, 2 o'clock next Sunday, we are on like Donkey Kong, and we'll
Dear
see you then.
viewer.
Dear viewer.
Dear viewer, who? Just kidding. All right, y'all.
Dear YouTube viewer, whoever's going to see this later. All right, later.
Later.
That's the wrong button. You got the mouse over here, dude. Come on.